The Lantern in the Fog. I've been hiking the Appalachian Trail solo for a few weeks, something I'd always wanted to do. I wasn't new to the outdoors, but there's something different about the Appalachians. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. Unnaturally quiet. It was late October, and fog had rolled in so thick it swallowed everything beyond a few feet. I set up camp near an old logging path that wasn't marked on any modern map. Locals always say, "Don't stray from the trail." I should have listened. Around midnight, I woke to the sound of footsteps. Slow, deliberate, crunching through the underbrush. My first instinct was animal, but these were too rhythmic. Then I saw it. A lantern, a dull orange glow bobbing through the fog, about 20 feet away. I called out thinking it might be a lost hiker. No answer. Instead, the lantern stopped, and then, whatever held it extinguished the light. Just like that, total darkness. I zipped my tent and stayed awake, knife in hand, heart pounding. Minutes passed, then hours. Nothing. At first light, I bolted. I packed fast and followed the trail again, but my GPS began acting up, jumping erratically. I followed the map anyway, but the trail started to feel wrong. Trees I swore I'd seen before. Rock formations that seemed familiar but weren't quite the same. It was like the forest had looped. Then I found the cabin. It was half-rotted, tucked behind thick pines, with one broken window and a door barely hanging on. I don't know why I walked up to it, maybe desperation or curiosity. But as I approached, I noticed something carved into the doorframe. Turn back. Inside, the air was cold and stale. Dust everywhere. A table, 2 chairs, and an old wood stove. But what really got me was what was hanging from the wall. Photographs. Dozens of Polaroids of hikers, sleeping, eating, setting up tents, all taken from the woods. Some were recent. One was of me, sitting at my campfire just the night before. I bolted. As I ran, I heard twigs snapping behind me, fast, then the unmistakable sound of labored breathing. I didn't look back. I ran until I hit the main trail again. When I turned around, nothing, just fog. Later that day, I flagged down a ranger. I tried to explain, but he just stared, unimpressed. Then he asked, "You say it had a lantern?" I nodded. His expression changed, pale. "You didn't follow it, right?" When I said no, he exhaled. "Good. A lot of people do. Most aren't found." The Whistler on Backbone Ridge. When I was 16, my uncle invited me to spend the summer with him in rural West Virginia. He lived in a weathered old cabin up on Backbone Ridge, smack in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. No cell service, no neighbors, just dense woods and miles of silence. I wasn't scared at first. In fact, I liked the quiet. That is, until the third night. It started with a whistle. Just after midnight, I was laying on the old fold-out couch, drifting off. Then I heard it, faint, high-pitched, and slow. A simple 4-note whistle. Like someone calling a dog, or mimicking a bird. Except it came from the woods, far off at first. I sat up, thinking it was the wind, but the pattern repeated, same 4 notes, now closer. I went to the window, nothing but darkness. I tried to wake my uncle, but he wasn't in his room. His truck was gone too. I stood in the kitchen with just a flashlight listening. Whistle. Silence. Whistle again. Then something knocked. Once. From the back door. I nearly dropped the flashlight. I waited, frozen. No more knocks, no footsteps. Just the whistle. Now behind the cabin. I locked both doors and sat in the corner until morning. When my uncle came back around 9 a.m., I told him everything. He didn't laugh or even act surprised. Instead, he quietly walked to the shed, came back with a heavy iron padlock, and bolted the doors shut from the outside. "You hear a whistle again," he said. "You stay inside. Don't answer. Don't look. Don't whistle back. Ever." That night, I didn't sleep. At 12:23 a.m., it came again. Same tune. This time closer, right outside the window. I didn't move. I didn't blink. The whistle repeated again and again, like it was searching. Then I heard whispering, right outside the glass. I couldn't understand the words, but it was talking, muttering, like multiple voices speaking just out of sync. I sat there, shaking, flashlight off, holding my breath. At some point, it stopped. I must have passed out because I woke up at sunrise, light spilling through the window. I went outside to check, and that's when I saw them. Footprints in the dirt, but not human. Four-toed, clawed, and they circled the cabin. Twice. That was the last night I stayed. My uncle never explained what it was, just said some things in the mountains aren't meant to be understood, and some of them learn your scent. He moved a year later, left the place to rot. But sometimes, on quiet nights in my city apartment, I swear I still hear it. That same four-note whistle. The thing beneath the bluff. 2 summers ago, I joined a group of hikers to explore a stretch of the Appalachian Trail, cutting through eastern Tennessee. We were experienced, 5 of us in total, all with gear, maps, and radios. The plan was simple: 4 days out, camp off-grid, and reconnect with nature. The second night, we pitched camp near an outcropping known as Old Widow's Bluff, a jagged overlook with a history of strange disappearances. Locals warned us not to camp there. We brushed it off as folklore. Big mistake. Around midnight, I woke to a strange sound. It was like breathing, but not normal breathing. Raspy, guttural, like a wet wheeze that came in short bursts. It wasn't anyone in the tents. It was coming from outside the firelight, down the slope. I unzipped my tent slowly, poked my head out. Nothing but trees. The fire had burned low, casting long shadows. That's when I saw the movement, just a flicker, like something shifting behind the trunk of a tree. I called out softly. No answer. The breathing stopped. Then, from deeper in the woods, we heard it. A loud, choking scream. Inhuman, like metal being bent underwater. Everyone woke up in seconds. One guy, Evan, tried to radio out, but all he got was static. Then came the smell. Rotten eggs and wet soil. It coated the air, heavy and unnatural. That's when we saw something crawl onto the edge of the bluff. It moved like a person, but wrong. Limbs too long, knees bending the wrong way. Its skin looked like it had been peeled, gray, wet, and twitching. It stood up, no face. Just stretched, pulsing flesh where a head should be, and it pointed directly at us. We bolted, left the gear, the tents, everything. Ran down the trail in the pitch dark. One of us, Jake, tripped. I looked back once and saw the thing crawling toward him, impossibly fast. Jake screamed. Then silence. We never saw him again. By dawn, we reached a ranger outpost. Reported everything. The rangers organized a search. No signs of Jake, no tracks, not even our abandoned gear. But the weirdest thing? The outpost radio logs showed a signal coming from Jake's emergency beacon, 20 miles away, in a section of forest that had burned down over a decade ago. The ranger looked pale and simply said, "That place doesn't give things back." I haven't been back on a trail since, but sometimes, when I close my eyes, I hear it, the wheezing, right behind me, waiting.